Well, hey, welcome back to another episode of the Weekday Saints podcast, where we look to highlight amazing work happening all around us in our city. Oftentimes things that we don't know what's going on, we don't see it. It's hard to know what's happening, but we believe God cares about those things and those people and the things they're called to do. Today's episode was convicting because the person we talked to, Matt Ashworth, does work that I oftentimes am too scared to walk towards to do, but he does it with faithfulness.
Yeah. I think for me, hearing his title, I was literally thinking about the person that just kind of goes in and fixes everything that I didn't even know was broken or that needed to be fixed. And so to hear his heart was very, very impactful for me.
Well, we hope you will tune in for this episode as you get to hear about a man who is living his life to serve others. So join us for this time with Matt Ashworth. Matt Ashworth. Man, thank you so much for making time to be with us today on the Weekday Saints podcast.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Well, we are really excited to jump into hearing about what you do for work and what keeps you busy the 9 to 5. But before that, tell us about who Matt Ashworth is. Have a family? Are you from Chattanooga? Tell us about who you are and where you're from.
My name is Matt Ashworth. I grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee. I was there born in 1979 and was there through high school, and I came to Covenant College in 1997. Spent a year at Covenant, did not want to live on the mountain anymore, and found myself down in the valley, eventually at UTC, and met a Georgia girl, and here we are. We've got 4 kids. Kate's 12, Dottie's soon to be 11, Mario's 7, and Thomas at 5. So we're in the thick of it.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And what's your wife's name?
Renee.
Awesome. Well, tell us, what do you do for work? What is your vocation 9 to 5?
I have been in facilities management for 20-something years. Mm-hmm. I started at North Shore Fellowship and was there in 2 different stints, but I've also managed commercial properties, residential properties, a lot of medical office, large and small, and currently am at a corporation called PlayCore, based here in Chattanooga, but we have properties all over the country as the facilities manager, facilities supervisor.
Does it sound like what it really is? PlayCore is that play equipment?
It is play equipment. Yeah, we are actually we are basically the holding company for about 50 different brands of recreation forward products. So we're talking about playgrounds, site amenities, park benches, trash cans.
Okay.
And one of our most recent acquisitions was so fun to hear this one was a company called Bear Saver. I don't think that's the product name, even though the company name was it's hard to keep them all straight, am I right? They're the ones that make the bear-proof trash cans that go in national parks, and it's just cool to know that we have a hand in what they're doing.
Total pause in the podcast. Bear-proof trash cans are what? Like
trash cans that bears can't get into is the way that they're designed. It makes it they're made in such a manner that allows you to deposit trash, but it's really, really difficult to get it out.
I have so many questions. I will not ask them.
And that's just one tiny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is we see PlayCore signs around town, and I do think about playground equipment, but as you're saying, and I've heard you talk about the amount of brands, and which means your footprint of properties that you guys have is much more than just what we see in Chattanooga.
Correct, yes.
Well, facilities management, how did you end up doing this? How did this field come about for you?
I kind of just fell into it years ago. We had just gotten married and just bought a home, and I had been doing a lot of home projects, just renovation projects or home care projects, building shelves, etc. That kind of, just stuff. And was working for a company that was having a difficult time at in that era. It's 2008 not .com bubble, the housing bubble.
Yeah.
And money was tight, and they were having a hard time. And an opening came up at North Shore Fellowship for facilities director, and I sort of puffed my chest out real big and said, I can do that. I'm a homeowner. I could do homeowner things. And it's just been sort of a learning ride from that day to this day, and there's always something else to learn. You're dealing with facilities and different types of facilities, and so I kind of fell into it that way, and have just found myself other places.
Yeah.
So what did you fall in love with? Because I've done things and I've fallen into different slots and I didn't love it. So I fell in it, but I didn't stick.
Right.
Right. So what is it that you love about this?
One thing about facilities management is that no 2 days are the same.
Okay.
There's always going to be some mess that comes up that you're going to have to deal with, and you got to find a creative way to deal with it, and you got to find an economical way to deal with it, and you just gotta deal with it. And so for that reason, no 2 days are the same. There is some normalcy with it also. Maybe that's not the right word, normalcy, but some consistency, because there are routine maintenance tasks that need to be done. This porch needs to be blown off, or we got to get the AC serviced. We're gonna make sure that we're putting little urinal pee pads down. Those have to be changed out. Someone's got to make sure those are changed out. So there is consistency and routine, but also at any given moment I could be presented with a task that needs me right now. There's water coming out of somewhere the water shouldn't be coming out of, which in facilities is bad. You don't want water, generally speaking. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds like what you described. I just got stressed.
yeah.
And at some level, it sounds like what your role is. You're running towards the thing a lot of us try to avoid.
Sure.
Yeah.
How have you grown? What are some of the ways you feel like God's grown you in this type of work?
Oh, I think just by presenting you with opportunities to learn the stuff that I've learned, and I guess giving me the longer I've been in my career, I've had more and more opportunity to have more resources to help foster the work I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And right now I have a lot of resources, which is fun. And sometimes I've had very little. Obviously, we work for a church, and you pretty thin shoestring buckets. I had this is a great story. I had one of the elders from the church had gone to somewhere. I can't remember exactly where it was. I want to say it was on the continent of Africa, and had been working with some folks there. And a young man came up, and he had what was his life savings. It was $11, and he said, "I want you to take this $11 and use it for the church. Use it for the church's work." And so, this man gave everything that he had, which I could spew out $11 anytime I wanted to. But that made me really think about when I was over there. This thing costs $11. Do I really need it? So
Yeah.
those kinds of experiences, I think.
Yeah.
Lessons learned.
So talk to me about how do you manage all the different things, in a building. I have a house that I have 100 projects I should be working on. I'm not doing any of them.
Sure.
But as managing multiple properties, how do you manage all the things that are on your plate that you have to think about?
Specifically what I do right now with my job is I'm sort of half in on the corporate office that we have here in Chattanooga, and then sort of half in on some special projects. And so I'm really sometimes not very good at balancing doing those special projects and balancing that routine. It's like that routine, the stuff that comes up versus the stuff that's routine. A lot of times I'm not really good at balancing those things out, and something falls short over here or something falls short over here, or I drop a ball. So I do the best I can. I'm not a super organized person. And so a lot of time, whatever's yelling the loudest is the one that gets the attention. Which is no way to live. So I try and keep up with what's going on. I leave myself little notes, and I schedule things on my calendar. One thing that's recently come up is I've not dealt with fluorescent lights a lot in my career. We just didn't use them at the church. We used LEDs at the job I had. And so those fluorescent lights are a pain because they go out and you don't really notice that they've gone out. It just gets a little bit darker because there's several of them,
Yeah.
And somebody that I report to, recently has said, "Can you do something about the lights in here?" And I looked up, and the lights were out everywhere, and I just didn't notice it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of one of those things that I've recently, hey, this needs to be checked every every week. Like you need to be walking around. So I'm walking around just looking up at the ceiling, and people are like walking by me, like, we're doing different. Like they're looking up, they're trying to see what I'm seeing. I'm just checking lights out. So
So I'm gonna shift from resources
Sure.
to people,
Sure.
right? Because you're the facilities manager, and so you have a team, right, that you oversee in all these places.
I don't.
No?
No. So I don't. We have people. We have people at most of our locations that handle their own buildings. I don't do a lot of. In my past life, in a former job, I did do a lot of maintenance related tasks at properties that we had.
Okay.
We had, I think, 13 branches all over the eastern side of the country, and if a faucet was leaking in Minneapolis, Minnesota, it was my job to make sure that faucet got fixed. And so I don't really have that here. Most of our companies have their own people in place or self-sufficient enough that I'm not having to worry about it.
Okay.
But here's a great example of one of the projects that I recently did. We had a plant down in Chatsworth, Georgia, that makes artificial turf for football fields, soccer fields, playgrounds, whatever you want to use artificial turf for. And they're really good at it, and it's a really great product. And we acquired that company the year before. I was brought on to PlayCore 2024, and my first project there was to go down to this plant and look at their break room and bathroom and figure out how to make that situation better. It was a building that had not been taken care of well at all. The break room was very dingy. It was very dirty. It was dusty. It was dark. The bathrooms had not been cleaned with any kind of regularity, had not been maintained with any kind of regularity. Same deal, dingy, dark. Not to get gross, but tiles coming up from the floor into the urinals because it's just never cleaned, and wasn't maintained. And so my first task was to go down there and figure out how do we take this and make something bright and clean out of it. And they just sort of handed it to me and said, "This is your deal." And I had to figure out how to. This was a lot of fun because I've got an iPhone. iPhones have they're LiDAR capable. I don't know if you know what LiDAR is, but you can scan a room and you basically get a layout of the room. And once you've scanned enough, you can create a floor plan out of.
So you're the designer.
Well, I've been learning AutoCAD. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
This part of what I've done in the last year that I've been here is I was able to kind of make a floor plan of this property and figure out, okay, let's draw this in. Let's figure out where can we put a larger break room? Where can we put bathrooms? How many feet? With a ruler and very rudimentary at first, and then as I developed some AutoCAD skills, like actually designing on the computer what these spaces could look like, and we now have a very beautiful, very bright, clean, functional break room that's 3 times the size of the ones they had, I think. Oh. And really nice restrooms in this plant. We finished that, I think, in December, maybe.
Yeah.
And so to be able to walk in there and see that work, I knew what it was like before, and to be able to walk in and say, this is really nice.
So do you see it? So when you walk in and you see kind of this dirty, dingy, place, do you envision, like before you put it in AutoCAD and you do all the things, technically, is it like God gives you something like what this could be? Is it a vision, or is it like you just kind of play around with it and it becomes?
Yeah, I really just played around with it. We just kind of looked at the space, and I think the biggest part was getting that initial drawing, figure out what do we have to work with, like what kind of room can we use here to do this, and how do we want it to function? Do we want to use it as a place where we can hold town hall meetings? If we want to get all the employees together, do we need it sizable enough to do that? That's what we wound up doing, is we could fit all the people that work in the plant in this ring to have a meeting. All right. And so, just sort of what questions do we need to answer, and how does this need to function?
I love the examples you're giving. So you talked about replacing things in urinals. You talked about blowing off sidewalks. You just talked about seeing the lights and how it gets dingy and how someone has to look at that. All of those things you just described, they're the things that we notice when they're not right. And what you're saying is you want to be proactive and create those spaces for people.
Sure.
Matt, I've known you long enough to know your care for people, a lot of the work you do, the reason that you get a lot of joy in this is there's a heart for seeing the places be used well for people.
There's a human element. For sure.
There is definitely a human element. Can you talk to me about how that plays into the work you do?
Well, there's dignity and there's dignity for people in clean spaces. Like and I'm very blessed to work for a company. PlayCore is excellent at doing things the right way. We want our employees happy. We want people to have clean places to eat, have well-lit places to use the restroom, are clean on a regular basis. Like, that's just, if you're going to come and do good work for us,
right,
we want to make sure that we're providing,
yeah,
doing good work for you, providing those spaces. And to work for somebody that's like that is really refreshing, because that hasn't always been the case. Well, we'll leave that at that. What was the question?
I was just kind of noticing that all the things you're doing is for the sake of people.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's for the sake of people. And, it's just about giving people dignity.
Yeah.
And like, if you're going to have somebody work in a room, give them enough light so they can see what they're doing. It's as simple as that. And I love being helpful to people. I love interacting with people. Mm-hmm. I love small talk. I love making jokes.
What?
Responses.
No one loves small talk, man.
I do.
All right.
Yeah. And so, a lot of times it kind of gets me in trouble, because it is a corporate world. And if somebody mentions something in passing, I guess if somebody sends me an email about something, I sort of really just want to jump up and go talk to them without sending. And that's just, sometimes you just can't do it. But I do look forward to those interactions that I have with people when they need something. And that's kind of something else. One of the guiding questions here that we're talking about, this is a really great answer for it. What I wish people knew about the work that I did was it's not a hassle. Like, for you to bring me something is my job. It's not a hassle. Like, people say, "Oh, I know you've got so much to do," and "Oh, I'm so sorry to blah blah blah." It's not a hassle. I love it. I love when you present a problem to me. I love it if I can make your time here better, or your work here better, or very teammate mentality. I'd love to be helpful to you.
Yeah.
Like, let me help you. People like helping people.
But I understand the small talk now. Okay, the small talk you gave me a frame. Well, because it's really not just small talk. It's building relationships.
Sure.
So in what seems like small talk, I'm really getting to know you. I'm getting to know your space. I'm getting you comfortable enough to call me if you have a need. But if we've never had any type of interaction, then I have to go through, all these disclaimers of sorry to interrupt you, sorry to bother you, sorry. Right. But once I have that relationship, I want you to know I'm your guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you handle because you are that guy where you want people to know you want to be helpful. Like you said, it's not a hassle. And I would tell you that that's a gift that you have. Yeah. That is not everyone's mentality. And so God has gifted you to want to walk towards the problems and the things that need to be fixed. But I'm sure there's times you have to walk towards things where you don't know right off the bat how to fix them. Oh, yeah. How do you navigate those moments when it's a physical thing? There's a bigger problem you didn't realize you're walking into.
All I can do is ask questions. Look for a source that knows more than I do. Get online. I admit, I've had zero formal training in facilities management. It's everything I've done has been because I had an experience once where I figured out how to do that. It's a great example. Like, when I was at the church for one of my stints there, we were doing some remodeling work in a building, and we needed to do some plumbing. And I've done plumbing with PVC. I've done drains and things like that, but I've never, I guess they call it sweated copper pipe. So it's like fusing copper pipes by using heat and solder. Mm-hmm. Completely new process to me. No idea how to do it. So just looked it up and said, okay, let's try this out. And it worked. I was terrified that I was gonna burn the place down because I heard this torch inside this wall, and it's like hitting the drywall, which is made of paper, And you would think this is not a good situation. And I went to my boss at the time, and I said, I want to burn this place down. He's like, take a piece of drywall out to the parking lot and try and set it on fire. And I was like, it's a great idea. And so I took it out of the parking lot. It will not burn. it will not burn. And so, it's just that process of learning.
Yeah.
Ask the questions. Who's done this before?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've known you for a long time, Matt, and as we talk about giftings that you have, some of the giftings I know that God has not given me is fixing things. You have come over for small projects at my house, for big projects at my house, and I don't pay you. This is like, this is because you care. What about that process? How does your faith inform you walking towards needs and walking towards helping people?
And, Jesus was the ultimate servant, like Jesus washed feet. Like, that was gross in that year, in that era, because feet were dirty. And so, like, just having the mindset that I'm here as a servant. I'm here to be helpful. I'm here to dive below you and prop you up. I think is really just the ultimate sort of influence, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's the ultimate example. He came to serve. He said it. Come, not to be served, but to serve it. And so, I'm glad that he gifted me with that mentality.
Yeah. Because when you're doing your job really well, no one sees you.
Yeah. It's often thankless. But a lot of times, like I've got this project that we worked on down in Chatsworth with this break. I mean, there was a lot of thanks on this, and there were a lot of people that, hey, thanks for doing that. And the president of that group, was, hey, you worked really hard. Looks really great down there. Thanks a lot. So it's not all the time that it's thankless, but sometimes, nobody knows it when nobody realizes when floors are clean. They only realize when floors are dirty.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or nobody knows when windows are clear and clean. That's when there's fingerprints and smudges on them. So.
I was thinking about when the Bible talks about the building of the temple, how detailed God was in what he wanted that to be. Like how big the space was, what the priest wore, that there's a real sense that God cares about the detail of things.
Yeah, sure.
And what I get to hear, you get to live into that aspect of who God is. The details matter. And like the cleanliness of a bathroom, I might not be thinking about that when I think about a company culture.
Right.
But man, that is going to affect the way someone views that is a holy moment to create a space where you can feel seen, whether that's in a break room and big enough that you can share it with others, or a bathroom that you're not horrified to walk into. You think about praying before you walk in a bathroom on a road trip, right? You're like, what is this? What am I about to walk into? And so that fact that you get to create those spaces, that's a beautiful picture, I think, of who the God is that cares about even those little details of our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree.
Yeah. Well, Matt, man, this is awesome, dude. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for how you serve others. And I can personally say thank you for the ways you have been a gift to me and loved me through helping me hang curtains at my house, to telling me.
Did you think that was fun? All right.
Yeah, to the ways I've seen you in your work walk towards things that you don't know how to fix, and with the courage to say, I'm going to figure this out, because not everybody's going to do that. And so thank you for the ways you love others, the ways you serve.
Yeah, glad to have the opportunity to do it.
Yeah,
sure.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
Look, there are those people in our life that see problems, and instead of running from them, even if they don't know what to do, walk towards them to try to make it right. And Matt's one of those type of people. Yeah.
Matt, when Matt said he walked through the hallways after being told, hey man, like, can you do something about this light? That it became almost like a center focus that I have to fix the thing that's right. And I'm walking up. It almost was scriptural. He didn't make it spiritual. But he said that he spends his time now, everywhere he goes, he's looking up. Because it's important to him that lighting situation never happens again. That's a person who not only cares about their job, but they have a passion. They have a passion to make sure that the situation, the surrounding, is good for people.
Yeah, he is thinking about others all the time. And the last thing I usually think about when I think about an office space is the bathroom.
Yeah.
And he was thinking about, how can I make this to be the best experience for the people that are working here.
Yeah.
And the things he does to care for buildings is really about caring for the people that walk through those doors and giving an experience so that the work that needs to happen can happen.
Yeah. And I don't think we give enough credit to our aesthetics, right? The things that, like, I don't know, for me, and I'll admit this, when I go into places, I'm not looking. Like, I don't know unless it's broken.
Right.
I don't know unless it's not what it should be. But somebody had to do that. Somebody had to get it right. And so the Matt Ashworths of the world, I want to send a shout out to you, right? To say thank you, because it is a thankless job.
It can be a thankless job, but I love Scripture is very clear that God meets us in those moments. The times when oftentimes we say those are the people that are unseen, God over and over again says, those are the people I see.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining in. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I pray that it was a blessing as you think about the work you've been called to do. And join us for more episodes of the Weekday Saints podcast.